Hello and welcome to another video. As you can see, today we're back in front of this already finished artwork. You guys might have seen this in one of my previous videos from last week about redesigning a character, where I redesigned this lady right here. I'm not going to show the artwork right now just because it's in a different sketchbook, it's far away. But today we're going to go ahead and be redesigning her pretty boy, playboy, arranged marriage fiance guy. So I went ahead and did some sketches in my car sketchbook. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. And unfortunately, I actually really struggled with coming up with a design for him as opposed to her. When I decided to split them off into different characters than the ones they were originally based on, I kind of had a clear look for what I wanted her to look like, but I really didn't have any ideas for what I wanted him to look like, and you're gonna see that in the sketches that I did. You'll see when we get to them. Okay, so just a little rehash of what she looks like, right? This is the one we settled on for her, right? So I just went through some ideas. But like I said, the first one I had for her was my favorite, and so I didn't really fool around with her too much. He is a bit of a different story, okay? So first I just started off as just doing a sketch of what he previously looked like. As you can see, he kind of just looks like Duke. Who was another one of my OCs. If you've been on my channel for a little bit, you've probably seen Duke. I didn't even notice that he looked like Duke. And then in the end, he ends up, it's so sad. I really struggle with his character design. I don't know what it is. I think I just struggle with male haircuts. I think I always just do the same male haircuts. Okay, so I did this one first, and then after that I moved on to the sketch, and I was like, okay, so he's supposed to be like a playboy type, right, who doesn't really care about like the family business. He just cares about drinking and ladies and cars and stuff like that. And I was like, no, I don't really like this. It looked kind of like disheveled and like grimy, and I'm like, I don't know why I don't like that. So I tried this one, and I was like, no, he still is not looking good. And so I was like, well, maybe it's the fact that he is like disheveled and grimy that I don't like. Like, he was supposed to be like a pretty playboy, and I'm like, this guy is not pretty. There's nothing wrong with not being pretty. Like, this sort of character design does have like a time and a place, but I want him to be like the kind of guy who is like sort of like looks first, superficiality first, right? So I wanted him to be the kind of guy who like has like muscles, but they're like muscles for show. Like, he can't run for shit, you know what I mean? Like, he gets winded like trying to run down a track or whatever. All of his muscles are just like appearance wise. So I'm like, well, if he's like an appearance first type of guy to contrast the girl, it doesn't really make sense for him to be like disheveled and kind of grimy looking. Okay, so I went for more of like a clean playboy aesthetic, which I liked a little bit more. But then I was like, I still am not satisfied with this. I don't like the hair. I was like really focused on the hair. So I tried another hairstyle, and I was like, no, I didn't even finish that one because I was like, that's not working for me. And then I tried this one, and I was like, okay, that's a little bit better. And then I'm still like, it's not working for me. And I'm like, it's really this hairstyle. And so I tried this sketch, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna change the eyes a little bit, because the eyes look pretty similar to another an OC that I have, who has like the eyes that slant downward for like a sleepy look. And then I did this one, and I was like, it was not just the hair, it's the eyes. I also didn't like the eyes. Which is why you should really, when you're doing character design, just try to like try different things, different eyes, different mouths, different everything, because you might think it's one thing that's not working, and actually it's another thing that's also not working. And so I was like, okay, so I did this one, and that's the one that I decided that I really liked. Unfortunately, he does look like another OC that I have named Emerson. Just give me a second, I will show you guys Emerson. Okay, so just like ignore the rest of the guys for a second. They're not relevant. But this is Emerson, right? And so I was like, okay, I like that bottom sketch. And so I did it again, and I was drawing him again, and I was like, I do like it, but they look the same. And I'm like, bro, what is my problem? I cannot design male characters that look different. And I'm like, the first one looked like Duke. The second one that I liked looked like Emerson. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And you know what I'm doing? I'm keeping this, okay? I'm sorry, Emerson, but for as long as I've had Emerson, this character guy right here, I've never been satisfied with his design. I don't like it. Something about his hair I don't like. And then I'm like, it's not his face, it's his hairstyle. I feel like his hairstyle does not fit him. And so I'm like, you know what? I've wanted to redo Emerson's hairstyle for so long now. And like the only thing that is similar, I feel like, is their hair. And I'm like, okay, well, this is pretty boy hair. And Emerson, he is just like handsome in like a regular way. You know, you make your OCs handsome or whatever, but he's not supposed to be like clean cut. He's like clean cut in a different way. He's supposed to be like the son of a politician, so he's more like squeaky clean type cut. And so I was like, well, I'll give him like the 90s it boy haircut. And I was like, ugh, I still don't really like it. I still draw him with that haircut, but I don't really like it. So you know what? I'm keeping this design for this guy with no name. Just because I feel like that haircut fits his personality more than this haircut fits Emerson's personality. So next time you see this guy, he won't look like this. But this guy, we're gonna go ahead and draw a page of him. And then maybe we'll go ahead and do a page of him and the lady interacting, because I already have some stuff written out for them. But that might be in another video, just because I feel like that would make this video kind of long. And I'm just starting out showing the drawing from last time of the girl, just so you guys can remember what she looked like. I used brown for that sketch spread, and I'm also going to go ahead and use brown for this guy's sketch spread, just so that way I can keep them consistent. I know usually I say that I pick out colors for my OZs, and I did have colors picked out for them, but they were pink and blue, which is kind of like, you know what I mean? And so I had to figure out what colors I want to associate with them now. But yeah, I'm just starting drawing off the guy. I'm just redoing the pose from my car sketchbook. It's just gonna be like him holding his jacket over his shoulder, nothing too fancy. So despite the fact that I had a lot of trouble designing this character, I didn't really have any trouble drawing him after the fact. The sketchbook session actually went pretty good in my opinion. And all of the drawings I did for this week, had a lot of fun doing them, which is kind of different for me. Not that I don't have fun drawing, it was just something about this session that I had a lot of fun with. Maybe it's because I had some new songs that I was listening to, and they were really pumping me up. So I had a lot of fun doing these. The art's not like spectacular or anything, but I feel like the art doesn't have to be good if you're like really enjoying yourself. And you might be wondering why I said that all of the sketchbooks or the drawings I did this week came out well. So the way that my filming schedule works is I work a full-time job, so 5 days out of the week I'm there, and then I have 2 days off. So I bulk film usually on the 2 days that I'm off. And then, since I work in the afternoon to nighttime, I have some time in the morning. And so what I usually do is I will film the videos, I will edit them in the morning and record the voiceover, and then I will go ahead and upload them and schedule them for the next day. Um, so that's generally how I do it. Um, it just works better for me. I know I could just film them all and then edit them all and then voice over them all. But I prefer to do the voiceover the day before, just in case I have something I want to talk about. I don't want to have it pre-filmed like 2 weeks in advance, you know? I mean, it would be a pretty big weight off of my shoulders if I could just have the videos planned out like months in advance. But then I feel like if I need to react to something like on the fly, then I have to shift around my whole schedule, and that would just upset me even more. Because if I had it planned so far in advance and then I had to change it, I don't think my psyche could handle that. So yeah, I just prefer to do the voiceover the day before. So just getting back into the art, this sketchbook session is actually not that long in comparison to some other ones that I've done. I don't know what it was. As I was drawing, the 2 days to get these done, I just found that I was sketching pretty fast. Like I did another one you guys will see later in the week. And usually it takes me to do a full body sketch. It takes me like 10 to 15 minutes. And this one only took me 8 minutes. So I was like, dang, am I getting faster? I don't think that I'm getting faster. I think that maybe I was just loose, because I was doing a bunch of drawings in the same day. And I know I said that's what I usually do, and it is. It's just more often than not, I'm doing like a coloring or like a one-off drawing. This was the first time I was like continuing something that wasn't just like what's it called? Just like a one-off. It's more story-based and more story stuff. And then the other ones that I did was another one that was more story-based. It's a comic, which you guys will see later this week, and then another one is going to be a men's fashion study. But I just turned fashion studies into one of my characters. I had a lot of fun this week. I think that what I'm realizing is that I like to draw my characters. I don't know if you guys noticed that. That's just something that I've noticed. And so I
I guess I have more fun if I'm doing story-based stuff, which I'm hopefully going to be doing more often for you guys. Like I said, currently I'm really more into drawing comics than I am more finished pieces. I don't plan on stopping finished pieces. I hope to at least do like once a week, just so that way I don't lose my skills. Restarted doing those cute girl October drawings because I haven't colored anything with markers in a long time, and I've lost my skill with markers. Um, Honestly, I don't think I'm really that great with markers, but I was a lot more proficient than I am now, just because I was using them all the time. I was doing finished illustrations every week, and I don't do that anymore. And so I'm like, my marker skills are like really like not they're suffering. Like the marker drawing you guys will see this week. I'll talk about it in the video, but I did struggle with it quite a bit. And so I'm trying to get back into markers. So I want to do at least one finished illustration a week. Um which makes it seem like I'm gonna get burned out again, which I probably will. But like I said, I don't mind splitting the videos up. So it only takes like the coloring of a marker drawing only takes like 2-3 hours for me currently. Um it's just like the sketching and stuff that adds onto that. But I can do the sketching off camera. The problem is I just don't like to draw on camera. It's just like a hassle for me personally. Also because I really like to shove my face into the paper and I can't like literally put it right up next to my eyes when I'm recording. Also, I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell you guys about warm-up drawings. That's also partially why the reason why my art felt like it was flowing a lot easier than usual. So a warm-up drawing is basically like a drawing that you do before you get into like your main drawing session, and you're like, "What? If I'm drawing, isn't it already my drawing session already started?" Yes. But also warm-up drawings are just like kind of little doodly things that you do. Um, Not really finished stuff. I guess you could do a finished something as a warm-up drawing. I don't know, but a warm-up drawing is basically just a drawing that you do, just to get like the muscles in your hands warmed up, just to get like the creative juices flowing, I guess. And it's supposed to help you before you move on to what your main drawing is, so that way you're not going in cold. Because like if you're like, oh, I haven't drawn anything, and now I gotta draw this picture that I really care about, and then you're like it's coming out bad. Maybe if you do a couple of warm-up drawings before that just to get your hand used to drawing again, that would help you. And then also cool down drawings are a thing where after you're done drawing something, you draw something just to finish off. I don't really do cool down drawings, but I think my sketchbook session today came out pretty okay because I was doing other drawings beforehand. And so I got the benefits of warm-up drawings. I don't typically do warm-up drawings. It's probably something I should incorporate into my art just because when I feel like I'm gonna do a finished piece, I plan it out as a finished piece. I feel like it always takes me so much time just to start it and get it right. But a warm-up drawings would help that because you got to get all the ugly drawings out of your hand first so you can move on to more of the drawings that you want to do that come out better. And also it helps get your brain shifted into, drawing mode after being busy doing other stuff. You know what I mean? So a little more about this guy. Um, so I think the reason that I struggled with his character design so much is because, unlike the girl, his character design or his character personality is not as solid in my head. Um, I know that I want him to be like a playboy, pretty boy, rich guy type thing where he, you know what I mean? Where he has like he's just worried about cars and money and stuff, and he doesn't care about the family business, and he just wants to do whatever he wants whenever he wants. He's kind of like a hedonist. Um, and I'm not really sure where to go with that. Like I have like his negative traits kind of sorted out. I'm just not sure so much about his positive traits, and maybe that's why I'm struggling with this. Like he's basically just like a little weak shit. Like he sucks. Like he is not suited to take over as the head of a mafia family. He is weak. He like I said, he can't really run, he can't really fight. I mean, it's not that he's not intelligent because he is intelligent. If he applied himself, he could do those things and that would be the most frustrating thing to like his fiance is that she knows that he can do these things is that he doesn't apply himself and he doesn't try, right? And so, it's kind of hard to, like, come up, I guess, with a character design that, exemplifies those traits. Um, but he doesn't really I don't know, I think I'm struggling just trying to figure out positive traits for him. Um Like, in the top now, I'm just drawing another picture. I'll go ahead and put the reference up for you guys. I just wanted to draw him hungover. Um, he does drink and party a lot, but he also does get blackout drunk and, like, throw up and stuff. And like I said, I don't really have any positive traits for this guy. I mean, I know that eventually he, like, changes his ways a little bit and becomes more of, like, a guy like a guy who's in love with his wife. But like I said, I do believe that in my head he does become more of like a trophy husband. It's not that he can't do stuff. It's just like he knows she would rather do it. And so she is the one who kinda takes over, uh, but I don't know what he does, and so I think I need to spend more time, thinking about his character, just so that way I could have things, just have an easier time coming up with stuff for him, especially more positive stuff, like, I don't want him just to be like a loser the whole time. Obviously, he is gonna be a loser for quite a bit of the time. In the story, he's actually supposed to be the point of view character, and he's supposed to, like, grow. I just don't know how he's supposed to grow as of yet. Also, no offense to you, if you're a person who likes to go out and drink and get blackout drunk, that doesn't make you like a bad person or whatever. I would just say, maybe guard your liver. But other than that, I'm just saying it in terms of him. He's not drinking just because he likes it. He's drinking it sort of like, as like an escape. Like he's not, what's it called, confronting his emotions. He's covering it up with drinking, and so that's what makes it negative, in my opinion. Not to say that drinking in general is bad. If you drink, that's your business. It's not my business. I'm not judging people for that. Also, I forgot to mention, that another reason why this sketchbook session went so well is because I used references. I used so many references. I used a reference for this drawing. I used a reference for the next drawing that I do, and then in my other sessions, I was using reference. So like I said, always use reference, you guys, because it makes the drawing process a lot easier. Like I could have sat there and struggled to figure out what it looks like when someone is like sitting down or something. But I just was like, "I'll look up a reference," and I found a reference that I liked, and I was able to draw those things. And you're not always gonna find a reference for exactly the pose that you need, but you could always just take a picture of yourself as reference. I know it's like kind of embarrassing, because I do it all the time. And then I'm like, after I'm done with the drawing, I'm like, delete that, burn it, get it out of here, because drawing poses that look cool in drawings are not always poses that look cool in real life. So yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, but I'd rather be a little bit embarrassed with a better drawing than not embarrassed with a really bad drawing, if that makes sense. So, I'm just gonna brainstorm a little bit out loud to you guys, just so I could try to figure out, something for this guy's character. Sometimes talking about, your characters out loud will help you come up with ideas. At least it does for me. I could spend all day thinking about characters and story and stuff. But sometimes just saying it out loud or writing it down is gonna help you, think things out more. Because sometimes myself, I get in like a loop, and I just think the same thing over and over again, or replay the same scene in my head over and over again, and then I can't get past that point. And so sometimes talking about it out loud, will help you come up with more ideas. For me personally, that is anyway. And so, like I said, he is kind of drinking to tap down his emotions. I wasn't really sure why he was doing that, but just saying that out loud now has kind of helped me come up with like a scene where maybe he could be talking to the girl and she's like, you know why you drink or whatever? And he's like, I drink because I like it. And she's like, no, you drink to hide from the fact that you think that you can't do it. Like you think that you can't take over your family's business. Like you personally think that you're dumb and you're not good at the stuff. And so instead of confronting it or trying to do better, you just hide at the bottom of like a bottle and you don't try. And so, yeah, I thought of that, while I was thinking about why he drinks and stuff. And so that's like a good basis to like build his character off of. But also it's not a positive character trait. It's like more negative stuff. It's like he hides from his problems instead of confronting them. And I'm just trying to figure out like a positive way to spin this. Like, I don't know, maybe he likes puppies or something. Honestly, I cannot see this guy caring about puppies, so that's not gonna work for me. Um, there's gotta be something. So sometimes with your characters, you can take like their negative traits and just like flip them, and they're their positive traits. Same with like their negative traits. So with his fiance, the one on the left side of the page, she is very hardworking, right? But she's also obsessive. Like when she gets to a point. where that's all she wants to focus on. So she's working hard, but she's also like hurting herself in the process by becoming obsessive. Like, she is very confident in her abilities. She knows what she's good at, right? And she knows that she's like typically the most intelligent person in the room, but that can lead her to be cocky, you know? So you can flip their positive and negative traits around, so that way you could, just if you just push a positive trait all the way to the extreme, it can become negative. And so, since his negatives are already all the way to the extreme, I think that's why I'm having trouble thinking of like what the positives are for that. It's kind of hard to like come up with positive when someone's in like a self-destructive spiral, and you don't really see what they were like before they entered that spiral. Like when we get into the story, it starts off with him being this type of person, and I'm not entirely sure who he was before, so I kind of have to go into the character's background and try to figure out who he was before and kind of see how he devolved, when he stopped caring about trying to take over the family business, and when he decided that he was just gonna not try anymore. Um, and so it's like I kind of like have to go back in his character timeline, and I never really thought about what he was like before, just because it was an AU originally, and so I was like, well, he's just based off this other guy, and I know what that other guy was like when he was younger, and so all I need to know now is he's like this, and eventually he stops being like this, once they get together and start learning from each other. But now that he's his own person, I don't know what his past was like, and so maybe that's why I'm kind of struggling to come up with it. For his fiance, the woman. I already kind of knew what her backstory was going into it. Like, I knew she was raised by her family. I knew she was screwed over by her brother, so that way he could take over the family instead of her, even though she had been, um, what's it called, planning to take over for like her whole life, right? And so I already had that background for her. I don't have that same background for him, and I think that's really why I'm struggling with both his character design and trying to figure out what he's like as a person. And so now I kind of have to just like go back and think about it. Like, maybe he started off all gung ho and he was like really excited that he was gonna take over the family business. And then maybe as he was doing it, he started to like notice that maybe some of the people he was training with, they were better at him and stuff. And like he was never like the best at what he was doing, even though his parents, like his father, very much drilled into him that he has to be the best because he's supposed to be the leader. And in his eyes, he was never able to achieve that he was the best at anything. And so he's like, well, if I can't be the best, then there's no point, you know? Which could also play into why he resents his fiance so much, because he sees that she's trying hard. He sees that she's trying to make moves, and he's like, it's kind of futile because you're never going to be the boss of your own family. You're never going to be the boss of my family, no matter how much you're like pretending that you are or trying to, you know, make moves so that way you could take over. Like, it's never going to work out in your favor. And I don't understand why you're trying so hard. And so that could be a reason why they butt heads. So really at the beginning of the story, he's kind of like at rock bottom, and I guess the whole point of the story is to like pull him up from rock bottom. I think it's a little bit different, because usually the character starts kind of like up and then they go down, and then you see them like come up and persevere throughout the story. Um, and his is kind of like he's already starting at the bottom, and there's only up to go, and so thankfully, since there's only up to go, the story should be pretty positive, even though it's about like, gang leaders and whatever. But yeah. So I just had to think of something that could be positive for him, that he could find out that he is good at. It's not that he's bad at the whole running the mafia thing. It's just that like he's not the best. He's not the best suited for the job. And so if he can't be the best at it, he doesn't want to do that. He could learn maybe to not think that way, just because you're not the best at something doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. I mean, I'm not the best at stuff and I still do them. Like, I'm not the best artist, but I still draw just because it brings me joy, you know? I'm not sure if leading the family would bring him joy, or if he is like a leader type character. I think that he could be, but maybe just not at that. I know I said I kind of wanted him to be like a trophy wife or a trophy husband at the end. But now that I'm talking about it out loud, I'm like, maybe he would not actually be satisfied with that, and he needs to find like another role, another thing he's good at. Um, I don't know. Maybe he could like work the books or something. Maybe he's like super good at math. I don't know. And now I'm just the drawing I'm working on right now is him sitting. I drew his fiance sitting, and I was like, that's like a cute kind of drawing. Maybe I should draw when he's sitting. Him sitting just so that way you could see like the difference in their personalities. And so I was like, well, he has to be man spreading. That just makes the most sense for his character, right? So yeah, I just got a pose off of Google. Literally just typed in man spreading, and so this is like one of the first ones that popped up. And I actually think that it didn't turn out bad. Like, I don't like her sitting pose so much, but I feel like it actually looks like he's sitting. At first, I was like, oh, it doesn't really look like he's leaning back. But that's because I was looking at it from like a different angle, and so when I picked it up and looked at it, I was like, wow, this is actually not that bad. I really struggle with sitting poses. Something about the legs always looks weird to me. Um, but this one, I was like, wow, he actually looks like he's sitting. I'm like slowly improving, you guys. And that's, heartening. Maybe that's also why I was like so happy with these drawing sessions, was because obviously the drawings are not the best. They didn't come out like 100% the way I wanted them, but they came out a lot better than I was expecting. And I wasn't really frustrated at all during these drawing sessions. And so I was like, oh wow, this was actually a really good drawing week, a good drawing days. Sometimes it's just so nice just to have drawings that come out easy, like even if they're not like masterpieces or whatever, just being satisfied with them yourself is like enough. And just for these drawings that I did, they were enough. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna cry just because it makes me so happy. Alrighty, we're coming to the end of the video, and I'm just going in with the colors now. It's the same pink beige marker I used in a drawing last week. Like I said, I just wanted to keep it consistent. There's no hatching on this drawing, which is also probably why it was done a lot faster. I really do like hatching, and I would have put hatching in this drawing. I just didn't know where I would put it. I was like, his pants dark. I don't want his shirt to be black, so I just left it white. And I was like, oh, I can color his hair in with a marker. So there wasn't really a place for hatching in this drawing. Unfortunately, maybe in the next one I do, I'll be able to bring back hatching. Like I said, hatching is one of my favorite things to do. Ever since I started doing it like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. Or maybe it was longer than that. I don't know. I always think that I did things at a certain point in time, and it turns out I've been doing them for way longer. Um, so I'm not really a great sense of time. Um, like I was like, oh, my dog is asleep again. She's always sleeping, you guys. But I thought that I had started drawing with pen like 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been doing it for like 5 years now. I was looking back at old sketchbooks, and I was like, I don't know when I started doing things or even when I do them now. I'm always so forgetful. So yeah, hopefully I'm gonna be able to draw these two characters together now. Like I said, I do have a comic that I had planned that I do have a video for already that I'm gonna be posting. But I kind of want to draw them even more. Since I've redesigned them, I'm actually pretty motivated to draw them now. Just because I didn't really like their designs before, and now I like them a little bit better. Some more than others. So I do hope I will be drawing them more now. I do have some writing for them already, and so I'm probably just gonna take from that writing and just make it into a comic. Whenever I do comics, I can think of stuff on the fly, but generally, I'm more of a writer first, so I write it out, and then I can, draw it after. My panels are not really inspired, but that hoping that with practice, I'll be able to get a little bit better at paneling. But yeah, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed spending time with me. I'll go ahead and see you in the next one. Bye.